solo in Angry Concern, like a lot of my solos, is just a compilation of different takes. I'll pick out different licks or melodies that I like in each take and find ways to develop them and connect different ideas together. Upon analysing the solo for this video, it appears that I'm alternating between two different scales over this backing track. That's basically the backing track, which is just hinting there's a C in there, which is a minor seventh, and more importantly there's a flat 9. For the first part of the solo, it appears that I'm using D Locrian, which is the 7th mode of E flat major. I haven't purposely used this scale, and I must stress that I never take into consideration theory when improvising. I'm always just using my ear to decide what kind of melodies and licks that I like. For example, in the first part of the solo, I'm drawn to the flavour of the flat 9, which is E flat. So it doesn't really matter to me what key I'm playing in. The most important thing is the flavour of that flat 9, and it just so happens that that flat 9 features in D Locrian. I tend not to use box shapes when playing licks or melody ideas, which you'll notice on the first part of the solo. I think this is due to having studied different instruments and especially vocalists when I was younger, and I find that sticking to one string or two strings sort of better emulate the timbre and tone of a vocalist. It also allows you a smoother transition between notes, which is exactly what a vocalist would do. For example, this is what the melody would sound like on two strings. As you can see, that sounds slightly more staccato and less smooth. Perhaps the most difficult part of the solo is the tapping section at the end. I suppose this idea originated from watching, I think, a Paul Gilbert instructional video about 20 years ago, where he demonstrated how to do a super fast trill, which was, I think, I can't remember. So I just modified this idea slightly and used it in the second half of this solo. I found the best way to learn and memorize the final tapping section is to break it down into smaller segments. So this would be the first segment, second, third, fourth, and the last. And I just work on trying connecting each segment together. But I tend to practice these things to a metronome for accuracy. Theory-wise, and again based on retrospective analysis, I discovered that that tapping section was using a scale called the half-whole scale, which is a symmetrical scale. I don't ever recall sitting down and learning this scale, so I have no idea why I'm using it. You start on the D. The reason it's called a symmetrical scale is because there's a pattern. It doesn't originate from any mode as far as I'm aware. So if you start on D, half, and it's called half whole because half a step, whole step, etc., etc. thanks for listening. I'll make sure that the tab for both these sections is available for download. See you again.